fix the chair. What is going on, YouTube? We are just getting started with a little Amazon FBA Q&A. We got the TikTok live as always, and we're talking about tariffs. So, is it going to make prices go up? Yes. Is it going to be the end of some businesses? Yes, but there's a caveat. The caveat is I truly think those who do not navigate or don't even try to navigate are the ones who go out of business. I have students who have already negotiated deals with their manufacturers, coordinated some things with their freight forwarders, whose freight forwarders who have told them how to navigate the tariffs. I've had students who have already found manufacturers in other countries. So what people don't understand is that China is not the only person who manufactures products. Quite literally, for a product like this, water bottle, China manufactures it, Spain manufactures it, Vietnam manufactures it, India manufactures it, Pakistan manufactures it. So if the tariffs are if the tariffs from China are going to end every business, then why are there other manufacturers who can produce the products for less? So I think that it will be a lot of growing pains for people. Like, I don't make it sound like something where, oh, just switch manufacturing. I know that takes a lot. You have to essentially go through the process all over again. But that's what's going to be needed to be done in order to navigate these tariffs. So that goes back to my original point. You will have people who will just inevitably fail in business because of them. But then you're going to have the people who were destined. But those people, I would argue, were destined to lose anyways. The tariffs are going to be an excuse as to why their business isn't growing, why they have to shut down their business, and then done deal. But then there's going to be an equal amount of people who go find manufacturing in other places, who will use the tariffs as a negotiation tactic and potentially get lower cost of goods. So I do not think it is the end all be all. Should you run PPC campaign for variants of the same item together or separate? Variations, it's a little more complex, Christian. You don't need to advertise every variation on ads. It actually doesn't make any sense. You'll probably waste money. If I have a blue water bottle and a black water bottle and a green water bottle and a red water bottle, and I'm bidding, like if I'm advertising on keywords related to the color, then yes, those would be separate and I would run campaigns on those. But if I'm just advertising on the keyword water bottle, there's really no reason for me to run a campaign on every single product with the same keyword, especially when they're in a variation. Because what happens when somebody clicks on my ad for water bottle, when they click on my black variation, they're going to see my red, my green, my white. They're going to see every other variation. Amazon is self-select, so you don't need to run ads on every single one. I like to do the one that is converting the best. How many items do you sell at one time? 40 plus, including variations. Variations being like different colors, different sizes. It's much more than a course, Jay. It is considered a mentorship program. A course, I would think, is a video guide that you get all said and done once you get it. You don't really have too much coaching. You don't have access to the mentor that you want. You just get some nice video guides. A mentorship program, which is what I created, you have the video side because obviously that's how you learn the steps, but you have direct access to me. You have weekly group coaching calls. You have access to the freight forwarder, aka shipping company that I created. You have access to the listing creation service I created, where the same people who create my Amazon listings will create your Amazon listings. You have access to one-on-one call with me. You have access to our private Facebook group. You have access to, I already said direct access to me. You have access to the PPC Masterclass, the most in-depth guide on Amazon ads. It is much more than just a course. Did you already leave Nashville? I did, bro. I'm sorry I couldn't make it. It was such a go trip because I was there for my buddy's engagement. So we were in Nashville only the first night. And then the next day we were hanging out with my buddy who just got engaged. We were distracting his fiance from the surprise because he was throwing her a surprise party. And then we went straight over to their place in Hendersonville, and I just stayed in Hendersonville until I left. So didn't get too much of a chance to go around just because it was a trip specifically for his party. How much is it? If you guys want more info on the AMZ Masterclass mentorship, in the TikTok bio, you guys can apply for the program. It's free to apply for it. And if you qualify for the program, you'll be prompted to book a call with my team where they will be able to answer any questions that you have about the program, help create a plan specific to your situation. My product sold right when I launched it and then all of a sudden stopped selling. It's been like a week. Well, number one, are you running ads? Number two, are you getting, do you have any reviews? There's lots of aspects with this, Elias or Elias, either one. We can break that down, just answer those questions. Also, you guys, if we get to 3K likes and let's do 30 shares, I will show live Amazon sales for the day. If you guys actually see, I updated this screenshot today. So we update it once a month. But if you guys want to see live sales on that account, let's tap that like button, tap that screen, and get those shares. Do you have a mentorship? I do. You guys can learn more about that in the TikTok bio. If you book a call with my team, they will be able to answer any question that you have about the program. Does PPC get cheaper when you rank better? It actually does, Bayo. So two aspects with this. Number one, your tacos, which is total advertising cost of sale, aka how much you spend in total on your ads. As you start to rank better organically, you become less reliant on PPC ads. Now, you don't spend less. You actually end up spending more in dollar amount, but the percentage that you spend relative to your total sales comes down. Does that make sense? So you may spend $1,000 and get $4,000 in sales, total sales. So you're running at a 25% tacos. That's up there. But then as you establish more rank, let's say that now you spend $2,000 in ads, right? But then $2,000 in ads, but this time you have a 10% tacos. So now you're making 20K. So the gap is larger, you spend more, but the percentage relative to total sales is much less. Another thing that happens, Emmy, I'm going to speak on that in a sec. So another thing that happens is that let's say that you have a $1.50 cost per click on your main keyword, and you're setting your bid strategy to dynamic bids down only. As you start to convert better, as your click-through rate starts to improve, and that only happens by getting more reviews, increasing your rank, and rank isn't relative to that. Increasing your reviews, optimizing your listing. Once you start to do that, you'll actually notice that, let's say your first month you were spending an average of $1.50 a click, and then you made no changes, but your conversion and your click-through rate went up, and you're using, as long as you're not using fixed bids, you might actually see a lower cost per click because Amazon is essentially rewarding you for performing well. You guys have to think of it like this is too. If your ads do not convert well, like if you're doing top of search for your PPC campaigns and it's not converting well, you have to think Amazon, it's more complex than this, but Amazon's algorithm is very smart. So it's not going to see a product that converts terribly with paid traffic and be like, let's reward this listing, because that's what the ranking system is. It's a reward system. Increase conversion, increase reviews, increase click-through rate, increase sales, increase rank. You get rewarded. Amazon is not going to reward a listing who's not converting on their platform, because as much as people think that Amazon is out to get all of us, Amazon actually makes more money when we make money, right? As we start to scale. So they reward us for that, and that's when you'll start to see some of those lower metrics. Message me, Salem. God willing, this week, brother. I was a little bit backtracked with the trip, with the birthday trip, and then with the Nashi trip, but we're locked and loaded for the next couple weeks. So I will get you dialed in, my brother. Well, the BSR stays above 200. BSR has nothing. Oh, excuse me. It does have something to do with it. BSR isn't the metric that I'm looking at. I'm looking at organic rank, conversion rate, click-through rate, and reviews. So those 4 metrics is what you need to see. Like when you search your main keyword on Amazon, where does your product appear? Is it on page 1? Is it on page 2? Is it on page 3? Because if it's not on page 1, you got to climb. Almost no product, the anomaly, very small percentage of products that are not on ranked 2 or ranked on page 1 are getting the sales that some of you guys may want. So when you look and you see my product's on page 4, why am I not getting any sales? That's why. Who's shopping on page 4 on Amazon? They're shopping on page 1. In fact, how many times have any of you guys at scale, and what I mean by at scale, every time you go and order a product, how many times have you guys went and shopped on page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6? I would argue that 99% of the times that you buy something on Amazon, it's from, ready? Page 1, which means that we as sellers need to get our products to page 1 if we want to see those type of sales. Should we wait to place a reorder due to tariffs? Okay. There's a few aspects with this, guys. The first aspect is you guys need to decide what is best for your business. Some dude on the internet is not going to be able to accurately tell you what is going to be best for your specific business scenario, Emmy, because you just said place a reorder, which makes me believe that you've already placed an order. What would make me launch up, or what would make me reorder with the tariffs? Because I've been seeing a lot of people preach and say, oh, I'm going to hold off until the tariffs come down. I truly do believe that the tariffs are not here to stay, like long term. Like I think that in 12 months, the landscape of the tariffs today are not going to be the landscape that we see 1 year from now. That being said, we have to assume that they're here to stay. So all these people who are like, should I just wait to order my product? You might wait forever. Like literally you might wait forever. And so what is the best option? Is it to sit and wait, twiddling our thumbs? Or is it to take major action to figure out, because this is why I recommend the 10X rule, you guys. The concept behind it is literally, we're seeing it play out live right now. Let's explain. So somebody who doesn't apply the 10X rule is going to see the tariffs, actually heard about the tariffs in September, did nothing. They knew they were coming. They knew Trump got elected on talking about tariffs, one of the many things. And then they saw that he gets elected and they're like, it's probably not going to happen. And then January comes and they're like, hey, here are the tariffs. And then still those people did nothing. Now, I don't fully agree with how the tariffs were set in place. I think that they're a bit high. That being said, when the market saw that, everybody went into panic mode. They're like, well, what do we do? What do we do? And you have a lot of people saying, oh, just wait, just wait, just wait. You might wait forever. So the 10X, you have to calculate all of these little things that you might not think are going to happen, and you have to almost assume that they will. Oh, tariffs, they're not going to be that bad. Assume for the worst and prepare for the worst. Now let's take it with the landscape that we have now. Okay. So people are like, should I wait to order my product? Well, what if the tariffs don't go away? If the tariffs don't go away with that mindset of I'm just going to wait and see what happens, then you're going to go out of business. Because if you don't figure out logistics, if you don't figure out a way to navigate these tariffs, if you don't figure out your price, then if they're here to stay, then you're out of business. So what I think is we figure out how to navigate them and don't just sit there with our thumbs, but twiddling our thumbs, hoping for the best. Find manufacturers in other countries. Is this difficult? Yes. Is it doable? Yes. Is it going to take time where you have to pivot? Yes. But better than sitting there wasting time hoping that, like, this is what I don't like about some people's mindset with business, is that if you leave it to somebody else to fix your problems, that's going to be it's going to be a rough go on your journey. If you're like, okay, the government has to fix this tariff issue for my business to be successful. Donald Trump has to do this for my business to be successful. It's going to be a rough go to be successful, you guys. So we have to figure out how to navigate them, find other manufacturers. Sorry, I was looking at something else. Find other manufacturers, negotiate with your supplier, and speak to your freight forwarder, you guys. Your freight forwarder is actually going to be a bigger friend to you than your manufacturers during this time. Thup, thank you so much for the follow. Sorry, I was off of the YT live. I found a product, high competition, low demand, but the highest sellers are AMZ, FBM. Good or bad? Well, if it's high competition and low demand, that's bad. I'm looking for products with low competition and high demand. How many products do you currently have, including variations, 40 plus? Quiz, thank you so much for the follow. So CTR or unit rate percentage, which is more important? They're both. Conversion rate is going to be the most important, and then click-through rate is also important. If we had to rank them, conversion rate is going to be number one. But Amazon is not a linear thing. All of the things matter, especially as you scale. How can I climb though? Maybe PPC ads. Get reviews and PPC ads. How to get page one? Reviews and PPC ads. And just for the record, guys, this is why you have to be subscribed on the YouTube channel. I literally have videos. Like, let's go over some of the videos that would help probably a lot of you guys. How I structure, I'm reading the titles. How I structure my Amazon PPC campaigns, right? That's one. And then another one, we have Amazon PPC ads, how to set them up the right way. Another one, how to do keyword research like a pro. And then another one, and this is for everyone who's talking about rank. I have a video that was posted. Let me see the date here. Oops, I'm covering the date. February 17th, 2025. And the title is Get to Page One on Amazon after this video, rank number one. I highly recommend everybody go watch that video. Key points on PPC when going after top seller. You're not going after the top seller. You're trying to take market share. You're not going to have a successful product by only focusing on the top seller. You can try and take sales from them, siphon sales with product targeting campaigns, but if they're the top seller, they probably beat you on price. They probably beat you on reviews. So the ones that you target for product targeting campaigns are ones that you have a competitive advantage over, not just the top seller. Yes, Jay, I can. Do you want me to review it on the live and just not say the product? Is it normal to have 3+ PPC when trying organic rank up, new product? A $3 cost per click is pretty high. And you don't need to bid the highest to rank a product, you guys. That's not how it works. You rank a product by having good conversion, good reviews, and good sales, not by spending the most on PPC. In fact, I've seen new sellers outrank established sellers, which those established sellers are likely spending more. Just because that's their policy. I don't make the rules. Amazon does. Is it possible to change your LLC and tax ID on Amazon? Yes, you can. Contact support and through your tax info in your account. Damn, I meant high demand, low comp, but highest sellers are AMZ and FBM. Okay, got you. I don't really love FBM, to be honest. I would assume that it's FBM because it's a heavier product. Correct me if I'm wrong. But if that's the case, you want it to be a majority FBA. There's a reason why most people are doing FBM. What would you say your average rev a month per product? Ooh, that's actually a really hard one, Zila, because it's such a big range. We have products that do anywhere from 5K a month to 100K a month. So it's a really big range. Yeah, I actually don't even know the average. Can this be done part-time at the beginning at least? Yes, almost every single Amazon seller that I've ever met has started part-time, including myself. That is correct, MRN. Any guesses when the tariffs will lift? No, and not a single person on the internet knows that. If you guys ever heard a video of like somebody's prediction, like I just heard somebody say, oh, in a week, the tariffs will be gone. This is the thing about the internet, you guys, is that anybody, including myself, can just make a video about anything. It gets some views and then it starts to sway narratives. It's kind of like when the TikTok ban was first happening, like prior to the 19th, when everyone was guaranteeing this is going to happen, the Supreme Court's going to do this, they got it wrong. A lot of people got it wrong. And the same thing with these tariffs. Like, unless you are the US government and China government, you do not know the end result or when these tariffs are going to end or anything like that. So with that being said, I have predictions that they won't last long. Like, I'm giving it no more than 12 months. But it could be 9 months, it could be 6 months, it could be 1 month, it could be 1 week. But literally nobody knows. And we're in such a news-based market right now that, like, literally the only thing that will make that come to fruition is the announcement of, hey, XYZ deal just happened. I think that you guys should be careful with what you, like, even go read the comments on my videos. Like, I posted one kind of questioning why the tariffs or why people think the tariffs are such a bad thing. I do think that the blanket tariffs on how high the tariffs are not ideal. And I also posted one just kind of breaking down the tariffs, and you see people's mindset. It's so wild. They're like, it's a lot of people who have never researched certain things. Like, you have people talking about, oh, the China, like, there was a guy, he actually, I wish I could read the videos or the comments, but he deleted his comment today. He was essentially saying, like, China's dynasty of 5,000 years means that they can outlast the United States with the tariffs and all these things. But, like, people don't tend to use their common sense. And, like, you could Google things, like Google, who is China's #1 trading partner? The United States. Who is the United States' #1 trading partner? China. This is going to be a not, also, this app is not controlled by the CCP, peace, love, birds. You guys, again, this is what the accountability thing of on the internet, and it goes from tariffs to what people believe about TikTok, because there's a difference between facts and feelings. I like to stick with facts, not feelings. So let's take the TikTok thing, for example. It's not controlled by the CCP because they actually have a full separate company called TikTok Cybersecurity, where the CEO of TikTok himself could not get into this building, doesn't have access, doesn't have clearance. You guys can go watch the News Girl. Her TikTok name is The News Girl. She has her pinned video where she's the only person ever where TikTok gave her full access to go check out the facility, explain to them what they were doing. TikTok hired a third-party company that works very closely with the United States government to come in and audit. It's essentially ethical hackers, like very, very good hackers who come in and they go and see code and they go and check all these things to see if there's any data breaches or any leaks. Ever since the United States brought their data, or excuse me, ever since TikTok brought their data over to the United States, there has not been one link to the CCP or Chinese government. China can't access our data. China can't manipulate the algorithm. And this was all proven by a third-party company who has zero interest in lying, because then they would lose their United States government contracts, sitting there lying. And then now all of a sudden the US government doesn't trust them, and then they lose their business because their whole business is doing ethical hacking for the United States government and companies and things like that. So going back to believing the things that you hear on the internet, people are like, we're hurting way more than China. China is, from my understanding, somebody may correct me if I'm misspeaking here, but from my understanding, China is selling US Treasury bonds because they're trying to save their own currency during this tariff war. Why? Because the United States is their #1 trading partner. They are affected just as much as we are. Also why I believe that a deal is inevitable. So yeah, guys, the internet, there's no accountability for anybody saying anything on the internet. And we live in such a headline-based market that, CNN or Fox News, I'm not trying to pick a side, it doesn't matter who, can come out with a headline and millions of people will believe it. But then if those millions of people went and did research, then they would see that these headlines aren't necessarily all that they make them out to be. I'm in the process of getting more reviews right now, but I'm losing money from my ads because I'm not converting. What should I do while Vine happens? Pause your ads. chill on the ads. If you're not converting, you're not going to convert anymore without making any optimizations. D, thank you so much for the follow. How much can you make? You can make $0. You can lose money. You can make 10K. There's not a blanket answer on that. MRN, you can hop on a call with my team and they'll be able to answer any questions that you have about selling on Amazon. What barrier, or excuse me, about the program. What barriers to entry do you utilize? Generic Chinese sellers plague our niche. They plague every niche, my friend. But I base my barrier to entry on a very strict product criteria. If a product meets that criteria, then we're good to go. You made that in a year. This is top line revenue, but yes, this is one of a few accounts. So when are we switching suppliers? You guys should be doing that right now. You guys should be looking for suppliers right now. Assume these tariffs are here to stay. I don't think they're here to stay, but let's assume that they are, and we got to pivot. It's the 10X rule. Anyone who hasn't read the 10X rule, you got to read it. How many reviews would you say it takes to get noticed, increase in sales velocity? It depends, but the more reviews, the better. I 10 to 15 minimum, but I always push for more, and you guys will see your conversion and your metrics improve as you get more reviews. Okay, well, there sure are a lot of people who won't let you say anything about Chinese government on TikTok. Peace, this is the thing about the internet, though. Like, it's people, which, like, if I post a video about Trump, there will be a bunch of people on the other side who are going to gladly be in my comments. If I post a video about Kamala, there are going to be a bunch of people who support the other side who will gladly be in my comments saying, you know what I mean? So it really just, it's really just contextual. You can't make the internet can't be the basis of reality all the time. How much percentage of your sales is profit? On this account, 40%. Miriam, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate you and everybody in the live vibing. So when you start running low on stock, you will start looking for new suppliers. No, 10X, start looking now. You guys should have been looking for new suppliers in September when you first heard that tariffs could be happening. You guys should have been looking for new suppliers in November when Donald Trump, who ran on the one of the bases of tariffs, got elected. You know what I mean? We shouldn't wait until the house is on fire to get a fire extinguisher. We should be prepared before. What up, Kevin? Yes, sir, I got you. Humble, thank you so much for the follow. Kev, I got you this week, bro. Have you used FBA reviews? What do you mean FBA reviews? Like Vine program? I get reviews on Amazon. I'm not sure what you mean by FBA reviews. I sent you that keyword, bro. So Jay, one of my mentorship students, I don't do this for just people on the live, but he just sent me a keyword. I'm not going to share the keyword, but we are going to analyze the market here on TikTok Live for everybody. So we just searched it on Amazon. We're going to pull up our Helium 10 X-ray tool and let this load. Let me see. So search volume, we got 13K, solid. Total revenue, 3 mil, solid. Average revenue, 49K, solid. Average price, $80, solid. Average reviews, 749. I would consider that solid. Not too high. It's not too low. Sellers under 200 reviews. We have, let's see here. We have more than 20% doing 10K a month. Here's what I don't love. I see two brands that have some pretty big dominance in here. Jay. So I'll send them to you on WhatsApp. So we have this brand, and we have, oops, and then we have this brand that I see pop up quite a lot. So I'm going to send this to you. I'm going to get to everyone's question after this. So these two brands, I do see a bit of dominance, especially for lower reviewed sellers. So I don't love that. And then I want to check one more thing because I'm not sure if that's the main keyword. So you sent me a keyword with 4 words. I think that the first 2 words may be the main keyword, but let me confirm that because I could be wrong. So it does seem like this is the main keyword, what I just told you, Jay. The one thing that I would make sure is because yours is for a specific location. So if for the more broad keyword, if there's like ones for the home, ones for the one that you sent me, ones for other places, then yeah, that keyword is high competition, the main keyword. Okay, so that's what I don't love because that's technically the keyword that you would want to rank on. Average reviews for that are 1,500. But what I will say is that some of these are for the home. So if you remove some of those that are for the home, technically the reviews come down a bit. Oh, this is a hard one. For me, I think it can go both ways. Let me delete some of these and actually give you my assessment. Even deleting some of the ones that are for the home, I'm still at 1,300 average reviews. So I don't really love that, to be honest, bro. Let's see, sellers under 200 reviews. Only 15 sellers under 200 reviews there, which isn't the worst. Most of them still do 10K plus a month. I think it can go either way. I think if your differentiator is solid, but I don't fully love that the main keyword has 1,500 average reviews. The differentiator would kind of have to be out of this world for me. Okay. My account has been deactivated for over a year because of Section 3. 26K is frozen and can't appeal. Why did you get Section 3? How can we start wholesale from zero? I don't do wholesale, I do private label, and you need the same amount of money to start wholesale as private label, so you can't start from zero. What up, Airstick? Good to see you. How's the road to 1 million account, bro? I haven't seen a video in a while. I posted one recently, brother. We're officially live. We're running some PPC ads. We're getting sales. We've gotten the reviews. Things are rocking pretty good. I'll make another update. I kind of wanted to make an update once we got to a certain sales goal. So I'll, God willing, make that soon. But if you guys go to the 0 to 1 mil tab on my profile, I posted a video a week ago on that update. What's the mid-range percentage from profit from sales? Average for private label is like 20 to 30%, but that's fully predicated not on the average, but all predicated on what you get your product for, your shipping, what your price is, your FBA fees. How can you estimate tariffs on a product? Specifically, if you go through a freight forwarder. Ask them how much you're going to pay on tariffs, just like you ask how much you're going to pay for a product, right? You're not going to place an order without knowing how much you spend on the product. You're not going to order a product until you know how much you're going to spend on tariffs. It's the same thing. Ask your freight forwarder, hey, this is the value of my goods. What is it going to be? Or what is the cost on the tariffs going to be? Your freight forwarder is going to be your best friend through all of this, guys. How much it costs to gummies or supplements? I wouldn't start with those, brother. It's the most competitive category you can start with on Amazon. High cost per clicks, lower average prices, high average reviews, barely any sellers under 200 reviews making 10K plus a month. You're going to have under 200 reviews when you launch, which means you're not going to be on page 1. What happens if the tariff changes mid-shipment, I think is the main concern people have. That's why I say speak to your guys as freight forwarders. Your freight forwarder is going to be able to help you navigate this much more than anybody on the internet. Like you guys, it actually drives me crazy because I'll see people like just take what somebody says at face value online and not put in the work. Somebody will say, I would just pause your shipments. And then people will like stop their business because of some dude on the internet, and they don't go and ask their freight forwarder or their manufacturer on how to navigate it. I think that's absolutely wild. You guys are the business owner, and this isn't at you, of course, Airstick. This is just general. You guys are the business owners. It's not anybody's responsibility to tell you when you should order product, when you should do this, when you should do that. If that was the case, like all these big companies wouldn't be big companies because they didn't just follow the crowd. They innovated. They figured how to navigate the landscape. The biggest transfers of wealth in the world are in the biggest times of uncertainty. So there's going to be, just like in COVID, there was businesses that went out of business. There was people who lost their income. There was people who lost their job. It was uncertainty for some, but there was other people who capitalized on those uncertain opportunities. There were some people who took the action, who learned how to navigate the landscape, and they're crushing it. They had better years in COVID than they've ever had. So the same thing I think is going to apply here. Do you use Alibaba for other country manufacturers? Yes. One of the many places. I don't do wholesale, Mohammed. What's the best state to open an LLC for Amazon? Technically, you have to open up an LLC in the state that you reside in. But best products, redo it, brother. I responded to your comment. The live training should be fixed for April 22nd. So if you locked in your spot and it said April or January 26th, that was a mistake on the back end. Make sure that you're locked in for the 22nd because we got all of that fixed. Would you say comparatively from before that now is worse / harder to start an FBA? Not worse, but harder, yes. Why do I say it's harder? I don't say it's harder for the reasons that most people think, like competition, saturated, blah, blah, blah. Like people have been saying that since 2019 when I started. The landscape is different because back when I started, I think that it was a lot easier to just throw random things at the wall and for them to stick. And that goes for the product side and for the PPC ad side. Like you could throw in random keywords, broad phrase, exact match, zero structure, and like you could have a profitable ad campaign. Now with the landscape of Amazon, you need to have that structure dialed in. You have to have your conversion dialed in. So in that aspect, yes, it is harder. But I also think that there's more information on Amazon FBA now than there ever was when I started. Like when I had to learn, if there was the information that was out now on like Amazon PPC ads, like, you know, for example, the information that I put out and all of that, dude, I would have had a way easier go learning. Like I was going to conferences to learn from one speaker about PPC ads. Like the information wasn't there. There wasn't as much incentive for Amazon sellers. There wasn't things like TikTok Shop. You know what I mean? Like the landscape today, I think it's much more exciting to start an e-commerce brand today than in 2019, but you have to be pretty good at it to find that same success. You know, you have to differentiate. Like back in the day when I started, differentiation was important. Oh, it's always important. Best products, like I said, you just rebook, bro. We got it all fixed. Rebook, re-register. But yeah, there's an expression. The best time to start selling on Amazon was 6 months ago. The second best time to start selling is now. I'm selling a gift set / kit. Can I source each piece from multiple suppliers? Yes, you can. What other sites do you recommend? There is, why am I blanking on it? Import Yeti would be one I would check out. And then surprisingly enough, ChatGPT. ChatGPT is your friend. I'm actually very surprised the people who underutilize ChatGPT. given that it exists, because it's a game changer. Do you sell on Etsy? Etsy's the one of the few platforms I do not sell on. No. Rag, for information about the mentorship, go apply for the program in the TikTok bio, and my team will be able to get you locked in there, answer any questions that you have, help formulate a plan to your unique situation. What other? Yeah, so ask AI, you guys. I have a video on this, but AI would be another way. I actually have a video how to find manufacturers in other countries on TikTok. So make sure you guys go show some love to that. That's why you guys got to make sure that you are following up on the TikTok videos. I make especially things like the tariffs, how it's changing so quickly. Anytime something's new, Amazon Vine, Amazon offers incentives, the tariffs, how to navigate them, putting out that content fairly quickly. So you guys make sure that you, every once in a while at least, go check out the page for some of those videos. I know that like when I was trying to keep up, play by play on the TikTok ban, I would go to specific pages, even if I didn't see their videos pop up, just to see what's good. So especially in times of these tariffs and navigating and all of that, I would think it would be a wise time to do something similar. Yatif, thank you so much for the follow, my friend. I appreciate you. Appreciate everybody in the live vibe and asking questions. Remember, y'all, if we get to 3K likes and 30 shares before I hop off live, I will show live Amazon sales for the day. May I ask what you learned from the 10X book, Ordering It Now? Yes, I actually also posted a video on this. It's my 5th to last video, how these books changed my life. And 2 of the books that I discussed were the 10X Rule and the War of Art. The 10X Rule, first off, I want to say I'm fully aware that I know people who have read that book, and it did not do even a little bit for them as it did for me. I do fully acknowledge that maybe it was just the right time, but something clicked for me when I read this book, and it helped me make more money than almost any book that I've ever read. The 10X Rule in a summary, and I still recommend reading it because it's much more in depth. The effort that you think that you need to be successful, you have likely, and I'm not pointing out anybody, myself included, we all fall victim to this. You likely have severely miscalculated or underestimated the effort that you need to be successful. Let's give an example for this. You have person A who thinks, I'm just going to launch a product on Amazon, and because I put in the work, I manufactured it, I sourced it, I created the listing, I should be successful. That is a very anti-10X mentality, because that's the bare minimum to launch a business. A 10X mentality is the effort that you think that you need to put in to be successful. So launching that product, getting it sourced from your manufacturer, throwing up some PPC ads. I'm going to get to your thing right now, Mzilla. Let me finish this. Running your PPC ads. You need to put in 10 times more effort than you think. Oh, I'm just going to throw up some campaigns, 0 reviews. No. You need a lot more reviews, 10X that. You think that you're going to just throw up some campaigns, dedicate 10 minutes to it, and be a 10K a month seller, 10X that. You not only have to throw up those campaigns, but you need to collect data. You have to optimize them. And you have to continue to optimize them quickly, not just like a few clicks, campaigns running, make me a millionaire, baby. And that is why I like the 10X rule so much, because when you realize that a majority of people are trying to do the average to achieve the extraordinary, the math doesn't add up. What does some dictionaries define average as? Less than extraordinary. I'm going to do the less than extraordinary amount of work in order to achieve extraordinary results. It doesn't make sense. In no world does it make sense. I'm going to be the most average athlete, but I'm going to go to the NFL. I'm going to be an average fighter, but I'm going to be in the UFC. I'm going to be a UFC champion. I'm going to put in an average training camp, average amount of work, average. The world has bred a generation of average. And so that is the 10X rule. It is trying to get you out of that average mentality. It is trying to help you understand that omnipresent is king. and that you are not putting in the right amount of effort. And for anybody who's sitting there thinking, I am putting in the right amount of effort. No, you're not. I know at the level that I'm at, I could probably go and do more. So there's no shot that there's somebody out there who is sitting there thinking, I don't need to do more. I'm right where I need to be. And that's a fact. So I was into FBA when I was transitioning from a job. So I had time. Now I got promoted. Basically feel like I don't have time. Luke, give me some motivation here. Write down everything that you do in a day, and I guarantee you that you have time. I know I posted a video about a single mom with 4 kids who's making $500,000 a month selling on Amazon. I don't think anybody should compare anyone's scenario to their own. That's not why I said that. I said that because there's always time. I was working 12-hour days, 6 days a week when I started my Amazon business. And guess what? I made time. There's going to be one of two things. A, you're going to write down everything that you do in a day, and you're going to see, oh man, I actually, and I mean everything. I literally, like, if you pull out your phone every day at lunchtime to respond to messages or go on IG, you write that down part of your day. And I guarantee that you can find at least an hour in your day that is wasted on things that shouldn't be, where you can dedicate to your business. In fact, I'm sure that you could find even more than an hour. There's some people who are like, I need 9 hours of sleep. Well, then get 7, get 8, and work on your business for an extra hour. There's always more that you can do. Wake up earlier, go to bed later, go to bed earlier and wake up earlier. You know, there's multiple different things. Back to that 10X rule, baby. You've got to 10X it. Do you have insurance for your product? I do. Busy corporate dad, so always a cycle that looks like always no time. Being a dad, definitely different playing field, because you got the kids, you got to make sure that they're good and everything like that. But even then, man, I do think that you can find time. And take it a step further. I love the McGregor quote. Your lack of commitment, and I'm not speaking to you, by the way, I'm just saying the quote. Your lack of a commitment is an insult to the people who believe in you. So it's like being a dad and being a great dad, props to you. But also find the time, not only for you, but for your kids, for your family, for that hustle, right? And I'm not even saying like give up time, because I'm sure that your kids would prefer time with their dad versus like you being an Amazon seller. But it's about, I don't even like using the word, but for lack of better terms, balance. And making that time, you know, like if you wake up at 7 every day with the kids, then start waking up at 6, and then boom, you have an hour every day before. If you go to bed at 11, go to bed at 12, and now you have an hour at night. Little things like that, I think can always be done. Would you recommend doing online arbitrage if you lack the capital? Yes. Started my first product sale a month ago with no sales. You probably have no reviews. You probably haven't been running PPC ads. If you are running PPC ads, then you probably aren't converting well if you're not getting any sales. And you probably, again, have little to no reviews, which takes me back, everybody, to the 10X rule. It is not enough to just launch a product on Amazon, hope for the best, and call it a day. You have to put in 10 times the amount of effort that you think in order to achieve the success that you want. So for everybody who's sitting there saying, well, I do X, Y, Z, do 10 times more. And don't do fake working, because a lot of people do fake work where it's like, okay, this is why I love the power list. Every single day, write down at least 3 things that you need to get done that will project your business to the next level, and you get those 3 things done. And for those of you who aren't selling and all of those, like you're struggling, you got to 10X that. So that would be my advice. And that's not just foo-foo la-la motivation. I'm talking analytical, like go in, push for more reviews, go in, run your PPC ad campaigns. Once you start collecting data, if you're not converting well, go and push for more reviews, optimize your listing. If you're converting well, awesome. Now you have a baseline, and figure out how to build on top of that, because complacency is the end of most businesses. I have quite literally seen 7-figure businesses who were on the trajectory to 8 figures, who just got complacent and now they're, barely cracking 7 figures. So you always, always, always have to be proactive with your business. If you're not proactive with your business, no dude on the internet, no Amazon themselves, Google, I don't care. No company, no person is going to save you if you're not going to put in the effort yourself. Did a campaign of 1 week, just 2K impressions. Impressions mean nothing because impressions, Amazon is a cost per click advertising model. Impressions don't mean people click on your product. And if people don't click on your product, they're not going to buy. If you have 2K impressions, one of two things. You have a terrible click-through rate, so you're not getting any clicks. So you need to get more reviews and you have to optimize your listing. It's not enough to just have a random listing. And there's the thing that the market is the market is the market. We may think our listing is good, but that doesn't mean that the market thinks that it's good. Or you don't, with 2K impressions, I don't think this is it, but maybe your cost per clicks are too low. But if you're running PPC ads and you don't have at least 10 to 15 reviews, that's step one, bro. That is step one. You guys got to get those reviews up. Reviews are everything on Amazon, ladies and gentlemen. The more reviews you get, the higher your conversion, your click-through rate will go. It's quite literally a direct correlation a lot of times between reviews and certain metrics. So that would be my advice, my friend. Please go get those reviews, push for, make those optimizations, pop back in the live. Let me know how it goes. There's nothing that brings me more joy than when I tell somebody something, they take the action, and then they see the results that are yielded from those actions. I don't know if he's still in here, but I have a student. Let's see if he's still in here. Jay, are you still in here? Yes, no. Jag? Yes, no, maybe so. I don't know if he's still in here, but he was in here earlier, the one whose product I was reviewing. I had a student who was struggling on Amazon for a little bit. Their conversion wasn't really good. They had lower reviews. They weren't losing money on ads. Actually, in the beginning, they were at a slight loss on ads. They sent me their listing. They're like, Luke, what should I do? I gave them the advice that, essentially similar to what I give all of you guys when you have this, when you're not converting well. But the difference is this student went and took action on that advice. They pushed for more reviews. They optimized their listing. And all of a sudden, they started breaking even on their ads. They weren't losing money. And then all of a sudden, they continued to make more optimizations. They continued to get more reviews. And then all of a sudden, they're profitable. And then, yes, it is live, Renelle. I'm just answering TikTok comments. We're live on the TikTok right now. And then all of a sudden, he makes more optimizations and he's starting to see even more profits on his account. And now he's doing 10K plus a month on Amazon. He hit his revenue goal and he's crushing it. He has a few other little obstacles that he's working on fixing right now, but that is just enough said. That is the baseline of how to be successful. Get the data, make optimizations, get the data, make optimizations, and you just rinse and repeat that process. Need help to get started trying to get ungated my first product? Any advice? You need to get an invoice from an official wholesaler or distributor of at least 10 units. What is the lowest search volume you'll try? 2K. I have 50 reviews, but by the time I get a sale, I'm already at over the break even. Any suggestions? You have to optimize your listing. You are in one of the few categories where you don't need to push for more reviews. That's usually the advice that I give people admin. But it's a listing issue. If your conversion is low, target does not technically work, no. If your conversion is low at $100 in spend, it's not going to get any better at $1,000 in spend. So the answer isn't spending more on PPC ads, it's to increase your conversion. So if I have, do I want to do this? Yeah, we'll give this breakdown. If I have a product that gets 100 clicks at $1 cost per click, at a 5% conversion, that means for 100 clicks, I get 5 sales. If my product cost is $20, that means 5 sales yields me $100 in sales. I spent $100 to get those sales. That would mean 100% ACoS, and I'm likely not profitable. Now let's take the same product, same cost per click, same metrics, same price, same everything, but this time we increase our conversion. So 100 clicks, $1 per click. We have a 20% conversion this time, $20 cost for $20 sales price for the product. So that means 20 sales because a 20% conversion at 100 clicks at a $20 price is $400 in sales by literally not changing the product, by not changing the price, by not changing the PPC campaigns, and simply improving the conversion. I go from spending 100 and making 100 and losing money on ads to spending 100 and making 400, 4 times the amount of sales, and being profitable on my ads with a 25% ACoS. Conversion is king. How to get reviews without sales. Amazon Vine program and friends and fam. Let's get to 3K likes. Tap, 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 tap. Let's go. Airstick, one of the mentorship students. I also see Arturo in here. Arturo, another one of the mentorship students. Good to see both of y'all. Arturo and Airstick, 2 G's. Always up in the lives. I always say you could tell when people are just are hustlers, when they're trying to get it. Not only do they have access to reach out to me directly because they're in the mentorship, not only do they have access to the AMZ Masterclass, the Harvard of Amazon FBA private label, they're also getting it in the lives nearly every day. God bless both of you. Is Vine risky? I heard they rate pretty harshly. It's not risky per se. Vine reviewers are more honest, you could call it. But what people forget to realize is that Vine customers are also Amazon customers. So like, let's say that your product was destined to get 30 reviews and it was either Vine or organically. Vine is obviously going to happen way quicker. If you get 30 Vine reviews and your product ends up at a 4.5 star rating, you'll get some bad reviews. It's almost inevitable that with 30 organic reviews, it would be similar results, similar star rating. And so what people don't realize is that like Vine doesn't equal bad reviews. Vine is just a gauge on what customers think about your product. So you have all these people who are trying to avoid Vine, giving themselves this push in reviews very quickly, when they're going to get those reviews regardless, and it's just going to take a lot longer to get. If you have a good quality product, number one, I've never seen anybody come out of the Vine program with a perfect 5-star rating. Number two, if you have a good quality product, average you're going to probably see is above a 4-star rating on Vine, which is great. I've had students who come out of Vine with a 4.8, 4.7 star rating. And those students pushed for 30 reviews and they didn't sit there and wait for 30 organic reviews, because that's what you should be doing. Please confirm, what are the FBA fees? It depends on the product you launch. Use the revenue calculator to calculate that. I think Vine is better, if anything, because they aren't paying for it. That's true as well. I think they're still just as honest, but I do see the perspective. Amazon seller account never got approved, forgot to put EIN number, contacted Amazon and can't get a hold of them. They email, they can't help with this case. Why can't they help with the case? I would just ask them to escalate it to an internal team. Technically, you can't make another account unless you delete that account. Any suggestions to get more conversion? Same keyword, stop working. That was like 20 to 30% conversion. You may have to look at the competition in the market. Maybe you do have to push for more reviews. I don't think that's it. But I would say that my prediction is that competition in the market came in and they were improving. You maybe were a little more stagnant, which isn't, it happens. And so the tide shifted a little bit. Or maybe you were getting some of that like early bird traffic and then things shifted. I don't think that's it. I really think that, oh, wait, one more thing, admin. If you were converting well and you had a good star rating, let's say a physical 5-star, and now you're at like a 4.0 star rating, that would also significantly affect conversion. Your expert opinion, is it safe to buy creatine gummies from Amazon? Do they have legit testing? I don't think I can't answer. I can't speak for every company, peace, love, but technically I can say that Amazon does require companies to have that testing in the supplement space. Whether people fake the testing, whether people manipulated it, I can't speak on that, but I can say that Amazon does require people to have proper testing in order to sell there. Do they ungate all products you submit an invoice for? Yes. If you get an invoice for Nike, then yes, you'll be ungated for Nike, but not like all clothing, if that's what you mean. Adnan, thank you so much for the follow. We didn't. Let's hit the share goal, you guys, so that we can show live sales before we hop off. If you guys click the share button and click copy link, it actually counts as a share. Let's get to 30 shares, and before I hop off the live tonight, I will show live Amazon sales for the day. So let's get it. Also, y'all, make sure you guys are showing some love to my last few videos. I've been posting some gems. And if you guys like the lives and like the videos, be sure to check out the AMZ Masterclass Mentorship Program in the TikTok bio. All right, let's do it. So we got today's sales. Sorry, YouTube, you guys don't get to see this. We got today's sales. Yesterday, last 7 days, last 30 days. This actually dropped a little bit, I think. Last 90 days. Actually, no, it did not, because we're still on track here. And we got custom. I actually did update this today or yesterday, the screenshot. Or today. What's today? And a little live update for you. But if you guys want to learn my exact strategies on how I achieve numbers like that and to have me as your personal mentor, year to date. Oh, I should have done that. Okay, I'll do that next time. But me as your, I already exited out. And to have me as your personal mentor, be sure to check out the AMZ Masterclass Mentorship Program in the TikTok bio. I'm also hosting a free live training on April 22nd. So you guys go register your spot. It's free, like I said. And if you guys wanted a more in-depth guide and just cut straight to the mentorship, the Harvard of Amazon private label education, check out the AMZ Masterclass. Adi, I posted a video about the tariffs on how to navigate them on the TikTok. Go check that out. We talked about it quite a bit today as well. We can talk about it more tomorrow on the live. God bless you all. YouTube, TikTok. Again, be sure to check out the AMZ Masterclass Mentorship. God bless you all, and I will see y'all soon.